Okay, Chodesh Tov, good morning. Thank you all for being here today. It's a very special month, a special day. I always say it, but it really is special. Thank you to Nora and Joseph for sponsoring today. Greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
May you have a lot of blessings and a lot of light, goodness, abundance, blessings. Marriage of your children, inshallah, Ba'umid Khoda in its right time with the right person. And may you have abundance of blessings in your life with your husband for 120 years, with health, with joy, celebration of all that you have, and enjoyment of all that's around you. Thank you so much for sponsoring today. I greatly appreciate it. Okay. Good morning. Today is Rosh Chodesh. It's Rosh Chodesh Iyar. There are many aspects to cover on this Rosh Chodesh because the whole month is a holiday. The whole month is the counting of the Omer, and therefore the whole month in and of itself is a holiday. Whether we are aware of it or not, it's a different story, but the whole month bears, each day is special, each day is important, but the whole month of Iyar, it has a special, uniqueness to it that does not exist in any other month. But there is one aspect that I have that I'm going to concentrate on in this month, at this time, which will cover, hopefully, the whole month, and we can all wrap it up and bring everything together at the end of it. After having left Egypt, after having gone through the 10 plagues, after having gone through the opening of the Red Sea. Now, on this day, 15 days later, after having gone through all of these, everything that we have seen, everything that we have experienced, everywhere that we have the godliness, it says that the whole generation reached the level of prophecy. The whole generation was a prophet, the whole generation. When we were passing the Red Sea and when we received the Torah, all of us, and all souls that are here today, we were all of us, all Jews forever have been present at the leaving of Egypt and have been present at giving of the Torah. So all of us, we can't really say they because it's all of us. We arrived at a place today where we started complaining. Where is my water? Where is my food? Where is my food is later, but today is water. Where is my water? Why did you bring us out? Why did you do this to us? Why couldn't you just have left us there? It would be better if we died with something that we knew rather than dying in the desert without any water, without any food. What happens to our children? It would be better if we had onions for food. Where is our water? So today, we receive at a place called Mara, which is bitter waters. And the waters were bitter. They couldn't really drink it. And so the complaining starts. Today is also the day that Hashem says to Moshe, if you listen to me, if you hearken to me, Ani Hashem Rufecha, I am Adonai, I am Hashem, your healer. I am the one who heals. So the whole month of Iyar, it's first of all, the name Iyar is an acronym for Ani Hashem Rufecha, is an acronym. Shalom, Rabbi. Please come and say hello. Please.
So happy to see everyone.
special Rosh Chodesh day, and I'm just going to make one request. I'm not going to interrupt. One request.
You can interrupt. It's okay.
That we pray for Israel.
Yes.
The news is not covering the fact that 600 rockets showered on Israel over the last 2 days. My sister who lives in the south of Israel said they had no Shabbat. Day and night they were in the bomb shelter. Children in bomb shelters. And it's just really horrible. And there's a reason why they're doing it now. You know why they're doing it. Let me just tell you very quickly. You know, Israel last year won the Eurovision competition. Eurovision is a yearly musical competition.
Okay. So having in mind Israel, its healing, and I will wrap it up all together at the end of the lecture. Of why our intention is so important, and why our gathering is so important, and how can our gathering actually help, not just our gathering, any gathering that comes together with the highest of intentions, that comes together with prayer, with connection, any gathering that comes together, and even at our own, when we are by ourselves, even our own thoughts, how that can help our brothers and sisters in the state of Israel and bring protection for them. Okay, so we get tomorrow on a day today, like today. Today, we get tomorrow and we start complaining. And this is when Hashem says, Ani Hashem Rufecha, I am Hashem, your healer. So my question is, what is healing? And how can healing be accessed? So the whole talk for today is going to be based on healing.
Start with positive thoughts.
Okay,
Look at the future and the next step, that it's because it hasn't happened, that it's not going to be grim. Things will change. And as long as you don't lose faith and be positive, if you are negative, you just go down and everything becomes worse. So the first step is just to stay, even though that is very hard, you have to have positive thoughts. That's where it begins.
Positive thoughts and envisioning a future that is different than your circumstances right now, and putting the best into the future. Thank you.
Accepting that everything that God does is for your best, and that being thankful for all the events that's going on in your life, and whether positive or negative, and being thankful to, that this is the steps you have to follow in your life, and knowing that whatever He does is for the best, and accepting that would be nothing.
So acceptance of what is and gratitude for all that you have, even the harsh circumstances that we might be under. So we have positive thought, we have gratitude, acceptance. Anybody else? When we think of healing, what are we really thinking of? When we say, I wish them healing. What is it? A renewal. Hope. Did you say something? Get better. So a movement towards growth, a movement towards betterment. What else?
I think we are really asking Hashem to step in and help. So it somehow shows our faith toward Hashem, that maybe there is something that is out of our hands, and all we can do is just to pray and have hope but it's time, perhaps, as we think, for Hashem to step in and bring that healing on.
Mm-hmm. So it's surrender, stepping aside, so that Hashem's light can fill our life, and something that we don't know, and He knows best. So positive thought, acceptance, gratitude, surrender, and growth.
Isn't healing like getting rid of the negatives and bringing the positives into something? It could be anything, healing of getting rid of sickness or healing of the soul. So it's like taking the negatives away and substituting with positive.
Okay, so another aspect of healing is, as Simajun says, is to do away, to understand what's the negative in our lives, to do away with them, and bring in the positive instead of those negative things that might be in our lives.
Healing the mind.
Healing the mind.
To better thinking and positive the mind, that we can improve, and we have to believe in Hashem, that do it better for us after.
Right. So the first healing you're saying, it starts with the mind.
Only the body, the
First it's the mind. First it's the mind, and then it's the body.
For me, healing is just one word, is faith. That's where it's,
One word, faith.
yes, that's it.
Healing is faith. Healing is equal to faith. Anybody else?
Yes, in that moment God is saying, I am with you, my daughter. Wherever you go, I'm with you. Just have a faith and go.
So part of healing is also the realization that Hashem is talking to us, as my mom is saying. Hashem is talking to us and saying, I'm with you. Go ahead in what you need to do, and I'm with you. Right?
You're not alone.
You're not alone. I'm with you. I have you. I have your back.
The first step in my experience has been acceptance and acknowledgement of the pain, whether it's physical or emotional, to acknowledge it, and then literally asking for healing. And that would start the process of healing. But first acknowledge.
Okay, so we put the pieces together. We have a lot of good stuff here. We have positive thought. We have acceptance and gratitude. We have faith. We have growth. We have God has my back. But the first process, you're saying, and we have thought. Healing starts with thought, and you are saying that it starts with acknowledgement of the pain. And once that is acknowledged, then we ask Hashem to fill in the space, the void, the empty space, the darkness.
To just know what you're asking
To know what you're asking for, to ask. To ask.
Acknowledge it and then ask.
To acknowledge and then ask. Exactly. Anybody else? So the second question is, we arrived at Mara. What happened if we didn't say that we need water? What would have happened? We were thirsty. We were obviously thirsty, and it only came, the water, the sweet water came as a result of us complaining and saying, we have no water, we are thirsty. It was better if we would have died there. Why did you take us out?
You don't trust.
what would have happened if we didn't say? What would have happened? We would have actually died? What would have happened to the...
The water would appear later. God wanted that time, we didn't have water. The water would appear later, even though the water would come. That's what I mean.
The water would have appeared anyway, but at that moment, we were just brought into a certain place of constraint to see how we are in the situation. Okay.
I think God,
Patience.
I think God wanted us to ask Him.
So you think it was a test?
I'm not saying. I don't.
I think God wanted us to see a desire for what they wanted and ask for it.
Thank you. A desire for what they required. Is complaining a form of asking?
It is in a way.
It is.
It is.
Complaining is a form of asking, but is not the highest way of asking. It is not asking with trust. It is not asking with trust. It's asking, it's saying what was, the good old days, even though it was really bad, but not taking the beauty of the place that they are in. They have left Egypt. They have gone through the Red Sea. They have seen all we have. I should say we have seen all the miracles. And a few days later, it's actually exactly a week after the Red Sea. Can you imagine going through such a miraculous event, and a week after, we arrive at a place called Mara. There is water, it's bitter, and we panic. Where's the water? We need sweet water. We need water. We need water. Okay. Month of Iyar. We're going to hopefully bring everything together as we discuss the month of Iyar. The month of Iyar is known as month of Ziv, which is the month of brilliance. It's the month of illumination and luminescence. It is also counting of the Sefirot, counting of the Omer and counting of the Sefirot. With each count, with each day that we count, we are illuminating one aspect of the Sephirah. Each day stands unto itself, and yet each day builds onto the day before. There is the day itself is a day that is unto itself, and yet is building on the day before. You cannot get to 3 unless you have been through 1 and 2. And yet 3 stands on its own. It has its own characteristic. It has its own facet. It has its own luminescence. By counting the Sephirah, we are polishing each aspect of ourselves. It's a polishing. Sephirah is also sapphire. It's the sapphire within each and every single one of us that needs to be polished. We have to know that through the journey of our lives, there is no one place that we reach that we say, this is the healing place. Because through the journey of our lives, we shatter and we become whole. We shatter and we become whole. That's why every year we go through what we go through. We go through Passover, we go through Shavuot, we go through all these holidays. There is no one destination, but rather understanding that it's all these points of our lives, these moments of our lives. There is a place that shatters, there is a place that's bound, there is a place that's limited, enslaved, and there is a place that's wholesome, connected, higher than, illuminated. And so we go through all of these processes, all of us. And the evolution of the human being, the evolution of our soul, the evolution of who we are, is to make situations that are self-imposed in order. I'll give everything to you. I promise you this. I promise you that. I'll be your eagle, and you ride on my wings. You are a nation of Sadiqim. I gift you. But then we come to month of Iyar, where we actually have to walk it. We have to walk into this gift that we have just been given. We have to become it. It is one thing to be handed the gift. It is another to own it and to become it, and for it to become part of who you are. So we go from a place, and the whole point of month of Iyar is to get to Shavuot. Each day that we are polishing, it's a day unto itself. It has its own luminescence. It has its own quality, its own property. But our point is to get to Shavuot, which is what happened on Shavuot. What happened on Shavuot? We received the Torah. We received the Torah. Which means what? Which means what happened? Rules. What happened? What actually happened? 10 commandments. That's the physical manifestation of what actually happened. What actually happened?
We spiritually reached the point to be able to receive that gift.
Correct. Correct. We walked it, and we came to a place where we could receive it. Because the Torah, if truth is always truth, and truth never changes, then the Torah was always there. 10 Commandments was always there. It was just that we as a nation, we came to a place where we were able to receive it. It was able to come to us. And we were able to take it onto our own self. But it takes the whole month of Iyar. It takes the whole month of walking, the whole month of refining. The month of Iyar is about refinement. The quality of month of Iyar is thought. It's sense. It's a sense of thought, which goes back to what you said and what you said. It's the sense of thought. The spark that we receive about things that we want to do, or how we want to handle a situation, or how we want to step forth into something. It's that initial spark. It happens in the month of Ziv. Because it's not only are the blossoms coming out, but the blossoms in our own mind, in our own brain, it's also coming out. And we need to become aware of that. But we only become aware if we start shining or refining. until we have not refined, we are not able to take in or to materialize all the good thoughts or all the inspirations, all the spark of thought, the initiation of thought. It comes and then it goes. We also have to know that everything is energy and form. There is energy and then there is form. And we need form in order to contain this energy. So we have this month that has great brilliance, it has luminescence, it has the quality of ore, which is light, and we need the container. What is that container that we need?
Our body.
Our body, which is what part?
Our soul,
Our soul, our mind,
our neshama.
our neshama.
The physicality, that's going to be
The container.
container. So if you make it the container as pure and wanting, then it's going to be that kind of a light is going to be into it.
So the container is actually our body. But what aspect of okay, let me say it correctly. Let me rephrase. There is the energy, and then there is the container. The soul is an energy that's contained within our body. And each one of us has its own characteristic, has its own dimension, has its own quality, and all unique to our own self. Just as each day in month of Iyar is unique unto its own self, so too each one of us it's a unique energy unto ourself. And yet, each day, even though it's separate from the other, it's connected to the other. Number 3 cannot come before 1 and 2. And number 4 needs number 3 in order to become number 4. And so too, each single one of us is a singular and at the same time is the whole. We cannot become who we are if we are separated from the other. It just does not happen. Just does not happen. As much as we think we are individuals, which we are, and as much as we think that we are in our own box, which we are. I have a name, I have a body, you see me, you say my name, and when you think of me, you think of me in a certain form. So I have an individuality, and you think of my characteristics. We all have our own individuality. However, this individuality does not mean that it's separate from the whole. And so the container of the month of Iyar, the container of this light, is the letter Vav. The letter Vav. Do you know what the letter Vav is? The letter Vav is a hook.
It's a connector.
Is a hook. Is a connector. Healing is when this letter Vav is whole. Any time that there is anything that needs to be healed, this Vav is broken. The Vav is broken. And the healing means connection, hook. And connection in all of its aspects, not connection to just one area of our life. It's connection to my soul, it's connection to Hashem, its connection to each other, its connection to our life, its connection to the moments of our life, its connection to the good and bad that exists in our life. It's not denial of any aspect of our life to say, I want to forget about that part of my life. That needs healing. And the healing comes when there is the vav. The healing comes when there is that acknowledgement. Sometimes by just acknowledging is the connection. So there is great amount of light in this month, but the container of it, the container of this light, the container of this energy is the letter vav. Any part of our life that seems fragmented, any part of our lives that seems separated, needs healing. This is the refinement that needs to take place. A lot of times we talk about refinement as a character. That's part of it, but that's not all of it. We are missing the point. Every day, every single day in Shacharit, we, as part of our prayer, we remind ourselves every day, on Shabbat, every day we remind ourselves that we were slaves in Egypt, and now we are here. Did God say, you know what, that was a terrible experience. I'm not going to remind you for the rest of your history. Let's just forget about it. No. No. This is our history. And not only our history, it's part of our soul. It is part of what we have experienced. It's part of what we have gone through. And so it must be remembered. And on an individual level, any part of our life that seems fragmented or separated, it needs to come to surface. It needs to be acknowledged. And that's the bitter water. That's the bitter water. Those areas of our life that's bitter, but it's not drinkable. So what do we do with that? What do we do with that bitter water? It's exactly this water that gives us what we need to have. The bitter water is exactly what we need. But not its bitterness, we need its sweetness. But the water is what we need. So how can we transform this bitterness to sweetness?
With our behavior.
With our behavior.
Polishing
With that polishing.
Mitzvah.
Mitzvah.
Changing yourself.
Changing yourself.
Good vision.
Good vision.
Is that the part that we ask for good thing?
Could be. No complaint, right. No complaint. We want the sweet water. We ask for the sweet water.
Sweet water with complaint. Sometimes complaint is not bad.
Right.
It depends.
You can ask. We can ask. Anybody else? How can we change the bitter water to sweet water? To be a good person. To give. Forgive.